There is a particular kind of pain that has nothing to do with what is happening and everything to do with how you are meeting it. Something occurs that you did not want, something changes that you were not ready for, something remains that you wish would go away, and the pain is real. But if you look closely, you will notice that much of what you are feeling is not the pain of the event itself, it is the pain of fighting against it, of wishing it were different, of refusing to accept that this is what is. And this resistance, this constant internal pushing against what already is, this is where most of your suffering lives. Welcome to the quiet path. This is a space where we step back from the constant striving and struggling of everyday life, where we sit with what is difficult, where we remember that peace does not come from controlling everything, but from accepting what we cannot control. Here, we do not pretend that life is always easy or that pain can be avoided. We simply look honestly at where our suffering comes from, and what we find again and again is that the deepest suffering is not in what happens to us. It is in our refusal to let what happens simply be. Today, we are looking at something that sounds simple but changes everything when you truly understand it. Most suffering comes from resisting reality, and the way out is not through fighting harder, it is through letting go. You have felt this resistance. It lives in the tightness in your chest when something does not go as planned, in the tension in your jaw when someone behaves in a way you do not like, in the exhaustion that comes from trying to make people or circumstances be different than they are. You tell yourself you are just trying to improve things, to fix problems, to make life better. But underneath that, if you are honest, there is something else. There is a refusal to accept what is. A belief that reality should not be this way, that it is wrong somehow, and that if you just push hard enough, think hard enough, worry hard enough, you can make it change. But you cannot. And the pushing only makes you more tired, more frustrated, more unhappy. The ancient teachings understood this. They spoke of acceptance not as resignation, but as wisdom, as the recognition that some things are within your control and some things are not, and that peace comes from knowing the difference, from putting your energy toward what you can change and releasing what you cannot. But most people do not do this. They exhaust themselves trying to change things that are not theirs to change, trying to control other people, trying to prevent uncertainty, trying to make life conform to their preferences. And when it does not, when reality remains stubbornly itself, they suffer, not because reality is cruel, but because they are at war with it. Think about the last time you were truly upset, not just inconvenienced, but genuinely distressed, and look at what was underneath the upset. Was it just the event itself, or was it your belief that the event should not have happened? Your conviction that this was wrong, unfair, unacceptable, and notice how much of your suffering came from that belief, from the story you told yourself about how things should be, because the event itself is just what happened. It is neutral. It is reality. But your interpretation of it, your judgment of it, your resistance to it, this is where the suffering multiplies. This is where a difficult moment becomes ongoing misery. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is what happens when reality includes something difficult: loss, disappointment, physical discomfort, change you did not choose. This pain is real. It is part of being human. It cannot be avoided simply by thinking differently about it. But suffering is what you add on top of pain through resistance, through the belief that what is happening should not be happening, through the constant mental argument with reality, through the refusal to accept what already is. And while pain is inevitable, suffering is not. Suffering is optional, it is created, and it can be released. This does not mean you become passive. It does not mean you stop working toward what you want or stop trying to improve your circumstances. It means you stop fighting against what already is while you work toward what could be. You accept that right now, this is the situation. This is what you are facing. And from that acceptance, from that clear seeing of what is real, you can respond. You can take action. You can make choices. But you do it from a place of clarity instead of resistance, from peace instead of struggle. And this changes everything, because action that comes from acceptance is effective. It is grounded. It is not driven by desperation or fear. It is simply what needs to be done. And it can be done without the internal suffering that comes from wishing things were different than they are. Consider how you respond to traffic. You are driving and suddenly everything stops. Cars are not moving. you are going to be late. And immediately there is frustration, anger, stress. You grip the steering wheel tighter. You look for a way around. You curse the situation. But the traffic is there. It is real. It is happening. And your resistance to it, your belief that it should not be there, does not change it. It only makes the experience worse. It only adds suffering to an already inconvenient situation. But what if you could simply accept it? Not like it, not prefer it. Just accept that this is what is happening right now, that you are stuck in traffic. And from that acceptance, you could relax. You could breathe. You could put on music or listen to something or simply sit. And the situation would be exactly the same, but your experience of it would be completely different. Because you would have stopped fighting against what already is. This is true for everything. For the difficult coworker who will not change, for the body that ages, for the weather that does not cooperate, for the plans that fall through, for the losses that come, for all the ways that life refuses to match your preferences. You can fight against these things. You can be angry about them. You can insist they should be different, but they are not different. They are what they are. And your resistance does not change them. It only creates suffering. It only keeps you locked in a state of internal struggle that exhausts you and prevents you from seeing clearly what, if anything, can actually be done. There is a teaching about water, about how it does not fight against obstacles. When it meets a rock, it does not insist the rock should not be there. It does not push harder and harder trying to move it. It simply flows around it. It finds another way. And over time, if the water keeps flowing, it will wear down even the hardest stone. Not through force, not through resistance, but through persistence and flexibility, through acceptance of what is and adaptation to it. And this is what you are invited to do with your own life, to stop fighting against what is, to stop insisting that reality should be different, and to flow, to adapt, to find the way forward from where you actually are instead of from where you wish you were. Most people resist reality because they believe acceptance means approval, that if they accept something, they are saying it is okay, that they are giving up on making it better. But this is not what acceptance means. Acceptance is simply acknowledging what is real, what is here, what is happening. It does not mean you like it. It does not mean you want it to stay this way. It just means you are no longer pretending it is different than it is. And from that honest acknowledgement, from that clear seeing, you can actually do something useful. You can respond instead of react. You can choose instead of being driven by resistance. And your actions become more effective because they are based on reality instead of on your wish for a different reality. When someone you love is struggling, you see this clearly. You cannot force them to change. You cannot make them see what you see or do what you think they should do. And if you try, if you resist their choices and insist they be different, you create suffering for both of you. You become frustrated, resentful, exhausted, and they feel judged, pressured, distant. But if you can accept them as they are, not because you approve of everything they do, but because you recognize that they are who they are and you cannot change that, something shifts. The struggle ends, and from that place of acceptance, you can actually offer something real, not judgment, not pressure, but presence, understanding, support. And sometimes, from that space, change becomes possible, not because you forced it, but because acceptance created the conditions for it. The same is true with yourself. You resist who you are. You fight against your limitations. You judge your feelings. You push yourself to be different, better, more than you are, and this creates constant internal conflict, constant suffering, because you are never enough, never acceptable, never allowed to simply be. But what if you could accept yourself as you are right now, not as you wish you were, not as you think you should be, but as you actually are, with your flaws and struggles and imperfections? What if you could stop fighting against yourself, stop insisting you should be different? And from that acceptance, from that peace with what is, you could actually grow. You could change, not from a place of self-rejection, but from a place of self-compassion. And the change would be sustainable, real, because it would not be driven by the belief that you are not enough. It would be driven by genuine care for yourself. Reality is what it is. This is the most fundamental truth, and most suffering comes from the refusal to accept this. from the insistence that reality should conform to your preferences, that life should be fair, that people should behave as you want them to, that circumstances should align with your plans, that loss should not happen, that difficulty should not come. But life does not work this way. It never has, and it never will. And the sooner you can accept this, the sooner you can stop suffering unnecessarily. The sooner you can find peace not in the absence of difficulty, but in the acceptance of it. This acceptance is not something you do once. It is not a decision you make and then never have to make again. It is a practice, something you return to again and again, because resistance is a habit, a deeply ingrained pattern, and it will arise. You will find yourself fighting against what is, wishing things were different, feeling that this should not be happening. And when you notice this, when you see the resistance, you have a choice. You can follow it. You can keep fighting, or you can pause. You can breathe. You can remind yourself that this is what is, that your resistance is not changing it, that you are only creating suffering, and you can choose to let go, to accept, to meet reality as it is instead of as you wish it to be. Sometimes people fear that acceptance will make them weak, that if they stop fighting, they will be overwhelmed, that they need the resistance to protect themselves. But this is backwards. Resistance does not protect you. It exhausts you. It keeps you locked in struggle. It prevents you from seeing clearly and responding effectively. Acceptance is not weakness. It is strength. It is the ability to face what is real without collapsing, without pretending, without running away. It is standing in the middle of difficulty and saying, yes, this is hard, this is here, and I can be with it. And from that place of steady presence, from that acceptance of what is, you have access to all your resources, all your wisdom, all your capacity to respond. But when you are busy fighting against reality, when all your energy is going into resistance, you have nothing left for actual response. The world will give you many reasons to resist. It will present you with things you do not want, things that feel unfair, things that hurt, and you will be tempted to fight against them, to insist they should not be, to make your happiness conditional on them changing. But this is a trap, because the world does not owe you comfort. Life does not owe you ease. Reality does not conform to preference. And if your peace depends on everything being the way you want it, you will never have peace. You will spend your entire life in a state of resistance, in a state of suffering. But if you can learn to accept what is, if you can meet reality without the constant internal argument, you discover something remarkable. You discover that you can be okay even when things are not okay, that you can have peace even in difficulty, that your well-being does not depend on circumstances being perfect. It depends on your willingness to be present with circumstances as they are. This is not resignation. This is not giving up. This is wisdom. This is understanding where your power actually lies, not in controlling reality, which you cannot do, but in choosing how you meet it, in choosing acceptance over resistance, presence over struggle. And this choice, made again and again in small moments and large ones, changes the entire quality of your life. Not because your life becomes easier, but because you stop making it harder than it needs to be. You stop adding the suffering of resistance to the pain of reality. And what remains is just what is, just this moment, just this experience, and you find that you can be with it, that you are strong enough, that you do not need to fight. You can simply be. And in that being, in that acceptance, there is peace. When you stop resisting, something else becomes possible. You begin to see more clearly, because resistance clouds perception. It makes you see only what you are fighting against, only what is wrong, only what needs to change. But when you accept what is, when you let go of the fight, your vision clears. You see the whole situation, not just the part you dislike. And you see possibilities you were missing. You see what can actually be done, what is actually within your power. And you see what is not, what you need to let go of. And this clarity is invaluable. It is what allows you to move forward, not from struggle, but from understanding, from acceptance of what is and clear action toward what could be. If you found something in these words that speaks to your experience, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to The Quiet Path, not because you need to add more to your already full life, but because this space exists for those who are tired of fighting, who are ready to put down the struggle with reality and learn what it means to simply be present with what is. And perhaps what brought you peace today will bring peace to someone else tomorrow. This is not about achieving anything or becoming someone different. This is about releasing the resistance that has been creating unnecessary suffering and discovering the peace that was always available underneath it. Walk slowly, see clearly. I'll see you again on the quiet path.